Being burned to death is possibly the most painful sort of demise. It is out of this fear that asbestos became king for many decades. This marvelous substance, a kind of stone that could be woven into cloth, was not only fire and heat resistant, but could also protect one from electrical current and caustic chemicals. Decades later, it has become all too apparent that the cure was as bad, if not worse, than the disease. Those who suffer from asbestos-related disease essentially die from slow asphyxiation, and the process can take years. Asbestos was one of the ingredients plasterers worked with prior to the 1980s. In addition, it continues to be present in buildings constructed as late as the early 1990s. Plasterers are among those in construction trades who have been exposed to asbestos fibers on the job. Asbestos plaster. According to the McGraw-Hill Dictionary of Scientific and Technical Terms, asbestos plaster is defined as a fireproof insulating material generally composed of asbestos with bentonite as the binder. Bentonite is a type of clay that swells and turns into a gel when exposed to water. Found in the U.S., primarily in Wyoming, Arizona, and Mississippi. The type of asbestos added to such plaster since the 1920s was primarily chrysotile. This is a softer type of asbestos with curled, spring-like fibers that some have claimed is less deadly than other types. This claim was disproven in 1996 by medical researchers at New York's Mount Sinai Hospital, who also discovered that chrysotile was likely to be contaminated with tremolite, a much stronger form of asbestos with fibers that were potentially much more harmful. Asbestos cement paneling was frequently used in homes constructed prior to 1980. These were literally thin sheets of cement that contained various types of asbestos in order to hold them together, as cement is not particularly strong when only a half-inch thick. This type of paneling has not been made since the early 1970s. Other construction material plasterers were likely to encounter actually marketed under brand names by the W.R. Grace Company of Maryland. These were called Monocoat and Zonolite. W.R. Grace Incorporated asbestos products. Monocoat was a type of sprayed-on insulation. Some 5,000 tons of this material was used in construction of the World Trade Center towers prior to May of 1970. This substance was banned by the Environmental Protection Agency in 1973. However, corporate lobbyists working for the W.R. Grace Corporation were able to pressure Congress into passing a law that established an acceptable level of asbestos content at 1%. The Grace rule has never been changed. Zonolite is a type of insulation manufactured up until the early 1990s. The primary ingredient in this product consisted of a substance known as vermiculite, a relatively innocuous form of clay. However, the sources of vermiculite were usually in the vicinity of asbestos mining operations, particularly in and around the town of Libby, Montana, where W.R. Grace owned and operated several mines. As a result, a great deal of vermiculite was contaminated with asbestos fibers. What is being done? For the past 26 years, with former and current corporate business officers being elected to Congress as well as the White House, and former corporate lawyers being appointed to the Supreme Court, the U.S. government has not surprisingly been extremely pro-corporate, to the detriment of most working citizens. There are some indications that change may be coming, however. The results of the midterm elections in 2006 constituted a clear statement that Americans have become impatient with the business model of government. In 2005, a grand jury in Missoula, Montana, indicted 7 corporate officers of the W.R. Grace Incorporated. In addition to a $280 million fine, members of the board could be sentenced to lengthy prison sentences, the first time that such corporate officers have actually faced criminal penalties. In 2007, Senator Patty Murray was able to reintroduce a bill that had been stalled for 5 years. S.742 would actually ban most uses of asbestos in the U.S. and phase out all others within 5 years. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer,
asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.net. Information and help for patients and families.